say that the material ways and the material causes are not enough, now I'll go towards them. Yes, the material ways have been created for mankind. Yes, you should exhaust those methods. But at the same time, when you realize these individuals are who they are, you realize they, by the will of Allah, have the ability to open up doors that you never even saw within your lifetime. The Imam, he says, أُعْطِينَا الْعِلْمَ وَالْحِلْمَ وَالسَّمَاحَةَ وَالْفَصَاحَةَ. He says, us Ahlul Bayt have been given eloquence. That when you look at Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen, you find when you look at the supplications of the Imam in As-Sahifa As-Sajjadiyah, and you compare them to the supplications in other schools of thought, you'll find that there is no comparison. Our ulama, they would say that if there was nothing except the du'as in the school of Ahlul Bayt to prove the trustworthiness and the truthfulness of the school, even that would be enough. And you know what's the secret behind dua? You find each type of address is a different address. A dua is a different address. Ziyarat is a different address. You find that reciting the Quran is a different address. You want to know the specificity and the special quality of each. When you want to speak towards Allah, you recite dua. But when you want Allah to speak to you, you recite the Quran. When you want to communicate towards Ahlul Bayt, you recite ziyarah. But when you want Ahlul Bayt to communicate with you, you recite the hadith of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. And you know, each of these categories is according to the intellect of the person listening. When the Imams, they would give a hadith, they would give it according to the intellect. For example, a man comes to the sixth Imam. He says, oh man, he says to the Imam, oh Imam, if Allah exists, can he put the world inside of an egg without the egg increasing or the world decreasing? The Imam, he says, oh man, look around. He says, I'm looking around. He says, what do you see? He says, I see the sky, and I see the water, and I see the trees, and I see the land. He says, what are you seeing that with? He says, I'm seeing it with my eye. He says, no, specifically, how big is that portion of the eye through which you see? He says, it is the size of the grain of a lentil or even smaller. He says that if Allah can place all of this inside of your eye without your eye increasing or the world decreasing, do you not think He can give a solution towards your answer? Now, the correct answer philosophically, as Mullah Sadr would say, is that the question itself is insufficient, because both objects, they don't have the properties to be in each other without one being bigger or the other smaller. That this would be a contradiction and a naqs and a defect within the property. But you find the Imam, he answered according to the intellect of that man. Now, when you have dua, in the duas of the Imam, the one reciting the dua is an infallible Imam. The one whom he's speaking towards is Allah. The limitations of speaking according to the limited intellect are removed. That's why in dua and supplication, particularly of As-Sahifa As-Sajjadiyah, you find the highest quality of eloquence and the highest quality of knowledge. You know what the Imam, he says? In one of the supplications, I remember the line is that all praises belong to Allah, who delivered oxygen towards those creation, those makhluk living at the bottom of the ocean. You know, people, they would discuss, until modern science had discussed, that how is it the ocean is so deep, yet there are creation and life which is sustained at the bottom of the ocean. For that deep into the water, the oxygen from the atmosphere, it doesn't reach into the water at that depths. But you find it's only 50 or 60 years ago, they came to the realization at the destruction of the coral reefs within the world, that at the bottom of the ocean are algae. At the bottom of the ocean are plants that give oxygen. Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen is saying all praise praises belong towards that creator who delivered oxygen to the creation at the bottom of the ocean. He gives line after line of spirituality, line after line of insight in these supplications. You know, in the time of the Imam, he couldn't give khutbahs in the way his grandfather Ali would give khutbahs. Because the Umayyad regime, they would watch him, they would scrutinize his every movement. So what the Imam would do is he would recite dua. Because if you're outwardly a Muslim, you can't stop the recitation of dua. So you find as the Imam would recite dua, the people, they would gather around the Imam. As they would gather around the Imam, they would listen to the supplications and they would receive an entire message within the Arabic language. These were the du'as of Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen. So the Imam in his sermon, he says, "U'tina al-ilma wal-hilma was-samahata wal-fasahata was-shaja'ata." That us Ahlul Bayt, we were given bravery. That a person is only given bravery after knowledge. You know, there are many in history, they had bravery, but they didn't have ilm. They turned into men like Khalid bin Walid. They turned into men like Amr bin As. That Khalid bin Walid, he goes. After the death of the Prophet, he sees the wife of the companion Malik bin Nuwaira. He's enchanted by the beauty of the wife of Malik. So he has Malik killed and he consummates a relationship and a marriage with her on the first night without respecting the iddah and that temporary separation, that halt period. You find these are individuals like that. But if you want to see true bravery, you look at that man who has knowledge with that bravery. And this is the reality of Ali ibn Abi Talib. What is the knowledge of the Imam? This is that Imam on the battlefield. As he's fighting, you find Malik al-Ashtar is fighting next to the Imam. The Imam, every time he would kill someone, he would say, Allahu Akbar. Malik, he smiles. Ali, he says, "Oh Malik, why are you smiling?" Malik, he says, "Oh my master, you and I have killed the same number of people." The Imam says, "Oh Malik, how do you know that?" Malik, he says that every time you kill someone, you take the name of Allah. The Imam, he didn't fight for personal reasons. He only fought because it was the will of Allah. He says, you say Allahu Akbar, and by my count, you've said Allahu Akbar 70 times. The Imam, he says, "Oh Malik, but there's a difference between who I kill and who you kill. You kill anyone who is in front of you. But when I kill someone, I look 70 generations down their lineage. And if there is anyone who can be guided in that lineage, I don't kill that individual." This is the bravery of Ahlul Bayt. Then the Imam, he mentions the seal of the qualities which a community needs to inculcate. He says, وَالْمَحَبَّةَ فِي قُلُوبِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And our love Allah has placed in the hearts of the believers. You know, people, they ask that how can we guide our children? How can we guide our community? I say the most potent and powerful thing you can do for them is that you place the love of Ahlul Bayt within their hearts. A person in his life, he has fluctuations in spirituality. He may pray, he may not pray. He may fast, he may not fast. But each of these other things, with emphasis, you can teach them to do that. But the moment the nur of the love of Ali Muhammad leaves the heart, love is something which is very difficult to bring back into the hearts. That's why if your children, they go astray, you don't worry in the way other schools of thought worry, because they don't have anything to bring them back. But as long as one dot of the nur of the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt is there is always a chance they'll be pulled back towards that right path. The Imam says our love has been given in the hearts of the believers. وَفُضِّلْنَا بِأَنَّ مِنَّا نَبِيَّ الْمُخْتَارِ. The Imam, he says we've also received blessings. The first blessing we have received is that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi is our grandfather. He says Muhammad is our grandfather. The Imam, he is reminding Yazid, "Oh Yazid, you boast about your forefathers. You say, Layta ashyakhi bi badrin. You say that you wish how your forefathers were there from Badr and Hunain to see what you did towards us. Oh Yazid, your lineage is something else. Muhammad is from our lineage. He says, بِأَنَّ مِنَّ النَّبِيَّ الْمُخْتَارِ وَمِنَّ الصِّدِّيقِ وَمِنَّ الطَّيَّارِ. From us is that honest individual. From us is Ali ibn Abi Talib. From us is Ja'far al-Tayyar. You know why the Imam refers to Ja'far al-Tayyar? The father of Yazid Muawiyah. He sent a letter towards Amir al-Mu'mineen. He was boasting about his forefathers. The Imam, he replied, and this letter is found in Nahjul Balagha. The Imam, he says, "Oh Muawiyah, you boast about your forefathers?" He says, "We are from the household of Ahlul Bayt." He says, "Oh Muawiyah, there were other people who were killed on the day of Uhud, but it was only our uncle who was Sayyid al-Shuhada." He says, "Oh Muawiyah, there were other people whose arms were cut, but it was my brother who was Ja'far al-Tayyar." And he says, "Oh Muawiyah, if you're going to boast about your forefathers, know that that sword which I killed them in Badr and Hunain, I still have that sword with me today, oh Muawiyah." Then he says, "Oh Muawiyah, even when a lion becomes old, a lion, he remains a lion. He doesn't begin to eat grass even at the end of his life." The Imam, he would avail to this reality. Then Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen, he says, وَمِنَّا أَسَدُ اللَّهِ وَأَسَدُ رَسُولِهِ. From us is the lion of God and the lion of his prophet. He says, "Oh Muawiyah, you are the grandson of the one who would eat the liver of Hamza, the uncle of the prophet." You know how much this grieved Rasulullah? It's stated within Medina. When the Prophet, he saw that others were being mourned, but his uncle wasn't being mourned, he says to the Ansar that, "Why is no one mourning for my uncle Hamza?" And this is something which Tabari, he writes in his Tarikh. At that point, the Ansar, they told their women to mourn. And then Rasulullah, he says, "May Allah bless you and your lineage." If Rasulullah made a dua that the lineage of the one who is blessed, who mourned for Hamza, do you think there is not barakah and blessing in the lineage of the one who mourns for Sayyid al-Shuhada, Aba Abdullah? You find these are all examples we're taking from history. Then after that, Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen, he says, وَمِنَّا سِبْتَ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ. From us are the grandsons of this ummah. Then he says towards them, مَنْ أَرَفَنِي فَقَدْ أَرَفَنِي. Those who recognize me, and those who don't, let me tell you who I am. Anabnu Zamzam was Safa. That I am the son of Zamzam, I am the son of Safa. I am the son of the best of them who went on Hajj. I am the son of the best of them who would go towards between Safa and Marwa. Anabnu man humila fil buraqi alal hawa. I am the son of the one whom upon the Buraq he was taken to the highest of the realities. Anabnu man usriya bihi min al masjid al harami al masjid al aqsa. I am the son of the one who was taken from Masjid al Haram towards the furthest reality. I am the one who was taken to Sidratul Muntaha. You know what is Sidratul Muntaha? Sidratul Muntaha is that peak that on the night of Mi'raj, that as Jibreel would accompany Rasulullah, a point it comes where Jibreel, he says, "Oh Muhammad, oh Prophet of God, I don't have permission to go further. My reality, it's not capable to handle anymore." He says that if I move even the length of a hair further, my wings will be burned. But you find the reality of the Prophet is that when Jibreel would be burned, Rasulullah's reality could handle all of those realities. And at that point, Allah, he says, فَأَوْهَا إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْهَا. that Allah, He revealed to the Prophet what He revealed. You know, every other revelation was through the angel Jibreel. But after Sidratul Muntaha, there was a message that was so potent, a message that was so powerful, that not even Jibreel handled that message. It was revealed directly to the heart of Muhammad Mustafa. And when you look at the tafasir which are given by the hadith of Ahlul Bayt, Imam as-Sadiq would say our message, our wilayah is that message which was revealed directly to the heart of the Prophet. Then after that the Imam says, Anabnu man fatadanna fatadalla faqana qaba qawsayn aw adna, that I am the son of the man who came so close towards Allah that it's as if he was two bows or even closer. You know, what is this line? What does kana qaba qawsayn aw adna mean? You know, two bows in that time period of the Arabs. They would have the bows, and between the bows they would put an arrow, and they would tie both of them together. This would symbolize a type of unison between the tribes. This would symbolize that they were at harmony with each other. When the Quran says, فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنَ أَوْ أَدْنَى, it shows that there is a type of unison between the will of Allah and the will of Rasulullah. That this Prophet, he will not speak unless it's of the revelation of Allah. This Prophet would not have love except it's the love of Allah. Didn't the Prophet say, Man habbal Husein, the one who loves Husein has loved me, and the one who has loved me has loved Allah. That there is a type of connection between all of these realities. But you find in the same way, Qaba Qawsayn or Adna, what it means is that when you look at existence, and this might be a bit philosophical, so forgive me before I move on. You find when you look at existence, there is an arc of descent and ascent. The arc of descent is this, is that when you look at the creation, you find each of them in order of magnitude, they come down. That you have insan, then you have the plants, you have the rocks, each of them are going down. But you find in the same way, man can become so close towards Allah that he begins to elevate and ascend through the different realities. You find Rasulullah is the one who ascended all of those realities with the utmost perfection. And Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen in this sermon, he says, I am the son of the man who reached two bows or even closer. Then after that he says, I am the son of Muhammadun al-Mustafa. He says, Ana ibn Aliyun al-Murtada. I am the son of Aliyun al-Murtada, the one who fought with two swords, the one who made two migrations, the one who fought the disbelievers until they said, La ilaha illallah. You know, the Imam, he dedicates the majority of this sermon to his grandfather Ali ibn Abi Talib, because after all, these are those individuals, when they would speak to Husein on the day of Ashura, they would say towards the Imam, Innama nuqatiluka bughdan minna li abik. The only reason we are fighting you is because of that hatred which we have for your father, for he killed our forefathers in Badr and Hunayn. You know, there's many lines in this sermon, but as the sermon it went on, you find the court of Yazid that begins to realize the realities of Ahlul Bayt. You know what Yazid, he says? He says to the mu'addin called the adhan. The mu'addin, he says, Allahu Akbar. At that point, Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen says, without a doubt, none is greater than Allah. After that, the mu'addin, he says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. The Imam, he says, my hair and my flesh and my meat, it testifies there is none except Allah. Then he says that line, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. At that point, Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen, he looks towards Yazid. He says, Oh Yazid, is Muhammad my grandfather or yours? He says, Oh Yazid, if if you say Muhammad is your grandfather, you are lying. But if you say he is mine, why have you taken his grandchildren as captive? This is the musibah of Zain-Ul-Abideen. You know, this is that Imam that he would mourn for his father after Karbala. It's stated at one point, a companion of the Imam, he says, "Oh my master, can you come to the wedding of my child?" The Imam says, "After Karbala, I don't attend gatherings of happiness." That companion begins to think to himself that how can I invite my master? The Imam, he says, that companion, he says that, "Oh my Imam, I am having a majlis in the remembrance of your father." You know, when Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen, he goes towards that gathering, the Imam, he sits by the shoes at the entranceway of the home of that man. That man, when he sees Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen, he says, "Oh Imam, I gave a special position for you. Why is it that you sit over here?" The Imam, he says, "You don't see what I see. I sit in that spot where my grandmother Fatima az-Zahra, she sits." This is that Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen. You know, it's stated that this Imam, upon the day of Ashura, you know, the final farewell of the Imam, when Imam al-Huseini goes towards Imam Sajjad, Imam Sajjad, he wakes up out of unconsciousness. He sees his father with the blood of Ali Asghar upon the beard of his father, with the blood of Abbas on the arms of his father, with the blood of Ali Akbar upon the shirt of his father. He looks towards his father. He says, "Oh my father, Aina Ammi al-Abbas." He says, "Oh my father, where is my uncle Abbas?" The Imam, he says, "Oh Sajjad, qad qutila," he's been killed. After that, he says, "Aina akhi Aliyun al-Akbar." He says, "Where is my brother Ali Akbar?" The Imam says, "Qad qutila." He says, "Oh Sajjad, know that from amongst the men, it's either me or you, Zain-Ul-Abideen." You find this Imam, he handles difficulties from Karbala towards Kufa. But one of the most difficult moments of the Imam was when the Imam, he returned upon the 13th of Muharram. When the Imam, he goes to Karbala upon the 13th of Muharram, what does he see? He sees the bodies of the Shohada. In the way a tasbih, it breaks and the beads, they begin to scatter. In the same way, by the Furat was the body of Abbas. The body of Qasim was there in pieces. The body of Akbar was there. The Imam, he goes in between all of the bodies until he falls at one of the bodies. He begins to cry and he says, "Oh Baba, oh father, after you they took the hijab of your sister Zainab. Oh father, after you they put ropes upon my neck. Oh father, look at the marks of the chains upon my neck." After that, the Imam, he would speak towards Banu Asad. He would say, "Oh Banu Asad, dig one grave for the companions." They dig one grave for the companions. After that, Banu Asad, they say, "Oh captive, oh Zain-Ul-Abideen, there is a body by the Furat, but whenever we pick up one side of the body, it breaks into pieces. When we pick the other side of the body, the other side, it falls to the ground." The Imam, he says, "That is the body of my uncle Abbas. I'll bury that body." Then the Imam, he says, "Oh Banu Asad, step back. For only a ma'soom can bury a ma'soom." He puts his abba on the ground. He gathers the pieces of his father. He looks towards Medina. He says, "Oh my grandfather Rasulullah, adrikni." He places the body of his father in the grave. As he's placing the body in the grave, it's stated in the Maqtal that a voice, it comes from the cut body of Hussein. That voice, it said, "My child, my child." The Imam says, "Oh Banu Asad, where is the body of that 6-month infant?" The Imam, he places the body of Ali Asghar on the chest of Hussein. He writes on the grave, "Hada qabru Abi Abdullah alladhi qutila gharib wa." He says that this is the grave of Abu Abdullah, the one who was gharib, the one who was alone, the one who was thirsty. على لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. We ask through the rights of Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen. You know, it's stated in history, there are three people in the history of Ahlul Bayt that as the one doing their ghusl was doing the ghusl, they broke down crying. The first was Ali ibn Abi Talib when he was doing the ghusl of Lady Fatima Zahra. It's stated that when the hand of Ali went across the broken rib of Zahra, Ali, that lion of God, he falls to the ground crying. Ayman says, "Oh Ali, why are you crying?" The Imam says, "Zahra didn't tell me about that broken rib." You find the second person who cried as he did the ghusl of an individual was Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen in the prison of Sham when he was doing the ghusl of the 3-year-old daughter of the Imam, Sakina. As he's doing that ghusl, Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen, he begins to cry. Sayyida Zainab says, "Oh Sajjad, why are you crying?" The Imam would say that, "Look at the marks all over the body of this 3-year-old daughter." You find the third individual who broke down crying as they would do the ghusl was when Imam Muhammad al-Baqir was doing the ghusl of Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen. They say, "Oh Muhammad al-Baqir, why do you cry?" The Imam, he says, "I found the marks upon the back of my father. You know, I looked in the maqatil. It doesn't say whether those marks are for when the Imam in the middle of the night would give food towards the orphans, or whether those are those marks that when the Imam he would cry, Shimar would take the whip and he would hit the back of Zain-Ul-Abideen." Ya Allah, we ask through the right of that Imam Zain-Ul-Abideen that wherever the followers of Ahlul Bayt are in difficulty, help them. Wherever they're sick and ailing, cure them. Ya Allah, give us the tawfiq to walk in the footsteps of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Grant us the intercession and the shafa'ah of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. And we pray for the hastening of the reappearance of the master of our time, Matam Husein.
Ya Husein, Sayyid Sajjad ka आता है ताबूत ये पीटो सरहले असा आता है ताबूत ये फातिमा के घर से ये निकला ये ताबूत है रोए अहले अज़ा आता है ताबूत ये अहले फलक साथ है सर खुले जिब्रील है शोर यही है बापा आता है ताबूत ये ज़ालिमे बेदीने زہر ہلاہل دیا زہر سے مارا گیا آتا ہے تابوت یہ فاطمہ فردوس سے نکلی ہے سر پیٹتی کہتی ہے اہل عذاب آتا ہے تابوت یہ پیٹو سر اہل عذاب آتا ہے تابوت یہ یا حسین یا حسین پورا او خاک زادارو کے عابد دف نہ ہوتی ہے اراؤ خاک زادارو کے عابد دف نہ ہوتی ہے اراؤ خاک زادارو کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں اراؤ خاک زادارو کہ عابد دف ہوتے ہیں چلی ہے خلد سے زہرا ہے حور پیتتی ہمراہ مدینے میں ہے گل یارو کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں اراؤ خاک زادارو کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں اراؤ خاک زادارو کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں کہاں زہرا نے بابا ستم مجھ پہ ہوا تازہ ذرا تم آن کے دیکھو کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں اراؤ خاک کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں اراؤ خاک دف ہوا بن باپ کا باکر کرے ہے پیتتے سر کو دو پرساج باکر کو کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں اراؤ خاک کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں اراؤ خاک عابد دف اراؤ خاک عزادارو کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں بکا مل کر کرو یارو کہ عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں اراؤ خاک عابد دف نہ ہوتے ہیں اراؤ خاک سجاد میں زینب ہوں میں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا مجمع ہے کوفیوں کا میرے چلنے کی جا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میرے سر سے 9 بار چنی چادر بلوے میں نبی زادی پھر آئی گئی در در مل جائے ردا مجھ کو اور میری دعا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ بازار جفا سجاد چلو کیسے لاکھوں ہے تماشائی یاد آتا ہے رے کہ عباس میرا بھائی فریاد کروں کس سے اب تیرے سوا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا معلوم ہے ادا کو غازی کی بہن ہوں میں بے دستی وہ غازی پابند رسن ہوں میں یاد آئی وفا اس کی جب پاس رہا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا مجبور ہے بے بس ہوں میں رو بھی نہیں سکتی دروں کی اذیت سے میں سو بھی نہیں سکتی اس درجہ مصیبت میں ہم درد میرا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں بازار جفا سجاد میں زینب ہوں میرے سر پہ ردا کوئی نہیں رحم اللہ منازل الفاتحہ
السلام عليك يا رسول الله خاتم النبيين السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين السلام عليك يا فاطمة سيدة النساء العالمين السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي المجتبى ناصح الأمين السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله السلام على الحسين
وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام عليك يا تسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء. السلام عليك يا شمس شموس أنيس النفوس أيها المدفون بأرض توس. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي صاحب الزمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن وكعبة الإيمان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك دعوان وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.